Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Trina O'Gorman, and if you are returning, thank you for joining me again. So there's something that I want to share with you that I know some people are not going to like and some people are going to disagree with, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. I have been teaching college writing now for over 20 years. 23 years, I think it is, to be exact. And for about the past 5 or 6 years, I have my students do what I call free writing, or some people might call it expressive writing or journaling, for 5 minutes at the start of every class. Most classes, I do provide a writing prompt for them because I don't want them to spend time spinning their wheels and worrying about that. So I will provide a writing prompt. A lot of times the writing prompt is connected to whatever we're reading or talking about at that particular time in the course. And then after they finish writing for 5 minutes, we'll take some time, not very much time, but about another 5 minutes to share some of the responses. It's always a voluntary thing. No one has to share if they don't want to. And then we move on. And semester after semester, when students do their evaluations, turns out that this part of the class is one of the favorites of a lot of students. So I like for students to have accessibility, access to things. And so when it comes to the notebook that I have them write in, I actually provide that notebook for them. The other reason I provide it is because I collect them twice a semester, and I don't want them to write in enormous notebooks that I then have to try to take home with me. And so I get these notebooks. They're A5 notebooks from Muji. They are 90 cents a piece. I do not ask my students to pay for them. I pay for them out of my pocket. And at the end of the semester, I let the students keep the notebooks. Oftentimes the notebooks aren't filled in their entirety with what we're writing in class, and so students often use the notebooks to take notes in other classes or write poetry or doodle in or on, and all of that is absolutely fine with me. So what I want to share with you is this. Other than asking my students to put the date on top of the page so that I can keep track of the work that they're doing, I give them no other instructions. I do not teach them how to write in a notebook. I do not teach them how to journal. I do teach them academic writing skills, but that's different. To me, writing in a notebook or writing in a journal is freedom, right? It's freedom of expression, and I use it with my students because I want them to feel comfortable with writing as a way of thinking, right? I always think of writing as organized thinking, and it helps us to clarify what's actually going on in our heads because we can kind of get a hold of it and examine it and see the patterns and all of that great stuff. And so I don't tell them how to write in these notebooks because so often writing teachers and English teachers have done a lot of damage when it comes to writing by somehow conveying the message that there's a right way and a wrong way to write all things. And while there may be rules for formal academic type writing or business writing or technical writing, when it comes to journaling, keeping a diary, keeping a personal notebook, There are absolutely no rules. And so every time I come across videos that are proposing to teach people how to journal, I like cringe. Ugh. And the reason I say that is because who are these journaling experts? Like, how do you actually become a journaling expert? A lot of times I'll see videos that people are writing, like how I've addressed my, mental health issues through journaling. And then I'll follow these people, or I'll check in with these people like 6 months later, and they're having a breakdown, or they're burnt out, or they're depressed, or they're this, or they're that. And I'm like, wait, but you just put yourself out there as an expert, or you just told people that this was a surefire way for them to solve all of their problems, and it turns out that you're actually having problems. And I think a lot of this comes from the fact that people feel like it's mandatory for them, or they at least want to create content. And a lot of people's lives just do not yield themselves to content creation. I mean, the majority of us get up in the morning, we take care of ourselves, some of us take care of our families, some of us are in relationships, we have apartments, we have houses, we go to work, we socialize a little bit, we might read, watch a little TV, go to bed, get up, rinse and repeat, do it all over again. What is there to create content about? Like, I just lived my life. I'm living my life. So there's nothing to create content about. And so people will be like, well, what do I do? What do I do in the course of a day that I can make videos about? And then people are like, oh, I know. I kept a journal for 3 weeks, or I've kept a notebook since I was a kid. So I'll make content about that. And then it's like, well, what do you say? Well, I'll tell people how to do it. You do not need instructions from anyone. You do not need inspiration from anyone for keeping a journal, a diary, or a notebook. I often think about the book Diary of a Young Girl, also known as Diary of Anne Frank, which was or is a diary, a published diary. It was published by her father, Otto Frank, after she died in a concentration camp in World War II Nazi Germany. And I often think, like, what if she had gotten this diary when she was getting ready to go into hiding? And she sat there and she looked at it and she was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to write. I don't know if what I'm writing is good enough. I don't know what I'm writing is right or correct or whatever. And she had found herself paralyzed because she was being critical of a process that is supposed to be liberating, right? And I often think of that and what pity it would have been if we did not get to read her work. And so you have like grown women thinking that they do not know how to write in a notebook, and I just find that to be mind-boggling. And I also think that there is a message out there that's being put out there that it's for everyone, and I would argue that it is not. I have always been compelled to write. It is the way that my self-expression most easily comes forth. Now, it comes forth in other ways too, and I also have other self-care type practices that I enjoy and that I do on a regular basis because they help me in other ways. I work out, I meditate, I walk, I socialize with friends, I read, things like that. But, I don't draw. My sons draw. I don't. I play the drums. But not everybody likes to play music. Um, a lot of people listen to way more music than I listen to. Some people run. Like I work out and I literally hate running. In order for me to run, something would have to be chasing me. Like if you see me running, there is something behind me and you should probably run too, because I absolutely hate to run. But I like to do like high intensity interval training. I love to do resistance, like strength training. I love that stuff. I practiced Taekwondo up to my 2nd degree black belt, and there was some running involved with that, but I hated every second of it. But there are people who love to run, and writing is something that some people find to be stressful, and it causes them some degree of anxiety. And some people are overthinkers, and so they will start writing as a way of grappling with some difficult experiences or emotions and find themselves writing into very dark spaces and dark places that they can't get themselves out of. And then let me remind you that absolutely insane people write manifestos. Like, like the Unabomber had a manifesto. I don't know if manifestos are written by sane people. I have to look that up. Maybe they are. But whenever you hear about a manifesto, it was always written by someone who is stark raving mad, and who has either done some horrific act or planned to do some horrific act and got caught prior to doing it. But they have written pages and pages and pages of argumentation and justification for their perceived position on things. And it might sound absolutely lucid and clear to them, but it's bonkers, right? And so writing doesn't always solve our problems, and writing doesn't always lead to a healthy outcome for everyone. But the bottom line to this message is that you do not need instructions on how to write in a notebook. I feel like either you're compelled to write in a notebook or you have some sort of desire to write in a notebook, not because someone told you you should, but simply because it feels like the way that you want to express something. And yeah, go ahead and do it. I grant you permission. I've been teaching writing at a state university for 23 years. I am a writing professional. I am a professor of writing, and I am giving you permission to get a notebook and write whatever the hell you want to write in it, with whatever you wish to write it with, in whatever format you want to write it. And I guarantee you that is going to be okay, that's cool. That's it. You don't need any other permission to write. So happy writing, and I hope this helps someone out there. Take good care. Bye.